Good afternoon. Welcome to City Hall in Marysville, Washington. Today I got a great interview to interview my hometown mayor, Mayor Jon Nehring, today, talking about life and what's going on. Mayor Nehring, thanks for joining the program.
Thank you, Preston. It's my pleasure. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too. So we're going to talk about life and talk about what's going on, why you decided to run. If you're joining us on YouTube, like, follow, hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. I want to thank my moderator at the bottom, my moderator in the background, Ted Gerges, for joining us today. Let us know that you're joining. If you've got comments, questions for the mayor, set them in the comments and we'll take a listen to that a little later on in the program. Jon, first question for you is, why did you decide to run for city councilman back in 1990, whatever year you decided to run for election? Why did you decide you wanted to get into politics?
I first ran for city council in 2001, but I really started getting an interest in politics in high school, actually. My junior year of high school, I had a couple really great teachers. Actually, both of them live in Marysville right now, Greg Canahan and Fred Erickson. And they kind of sparked my interest in politics and contemporary world problems and all of that. And then I went into college and got on the student senate. And so it was kind of had a little bit of a political position there. And then, I got a business degree and went into the business world for about 16, 17 years and loved that and worked my way up in the private sector business world. But I always wanted to get into politics. And in 2001, Donna Pedersen, who was on the city council, was planning to retire, and she encouraged me to run. I got to know her. She encouraged me to run and really was helpful to me in that, her and her husband. And so I decided to run for city council, which is a part-time position. As mayor now, it's a full-time elected position, but that was part-time. So I ran and won a really close election in 2001 there. And so was able to get on the city council and then, moved on and probably, I don't know, 5-6 years after that, thought about the position of mayor. But with Dennis Kendall in that position, I was a big supporter of Dennis. Had no intention of running against him at all. But I thought, whenever Dennis is done, I might be a position I'm interested in. So so it worked out, and here I am today as mayor.
So you did that in 2001.
Yeah.
When did the position open up for you to run? The appropriate time to run for mayor, was that in 2000?
2000. I've been mayor since August of 2010.
August of 2010 was my senior year. I graduated high school, which I find
really
us meeting in the Starbucks at 88th.
Yes, I remember.
I remember that.
That was before the 2011 election, I think.
That is crazy. And having come into my house, and you have my mother standing in the hallway saying that he pulled out $100 to donate to the election out of cash. But he would, like my mother would say,
that was nice of you to help out on that campaign. Yeah.
And you got everybody going crazy. So that's great. So in 2010, you became mayor. And a lot has changed in the last 15 years. Mm-hmm. We've come from a long way, 2010 to now. So when you ran in 2010, were elected for the first time.
Yeah.
What was your biggest, let's talk about 2010, not now, but what was your first 4 years in office like? And were you trying to get your feet underneath each other, and what were you trying to do?
Yeah. So, in 2010, to fill the vacancy, I was appointed by the council to fill the remaining year plus of that term, and then got a full 4-year term when I ran for and won re-election in 2011. And so that kind of 4 or 5 year time span, when I first got into office, we were in the teeth of the Great Recession. And so the economy was horrible. Honestly, one of the first things I had to do in the first month or so on the job was we had to cut the city workforce by about 10% to make sure the budget was balanced. And so we did what a lot of private businesses and families were doing at the time, and that's just figuring out a way to survive a really, really serious economic downturn that wiped a lot of businesses out. And so that first, several months and even years, to be honest, was the primary focus was stabilizing the finances like everybody was doing. And we set a goal to have a minimum 10% emergency reserve to pay down our debt and to put the city in a better position with savings so that we could pay cash for some of the priorities we wanted to do. And working closely with the city council and with a great staff, we were able to do all three of those things fairly quickly and put ourselves in a good position where we still have a healthy reserve to this day. We did pay our debt down, and we were able to develop on top of our emergency reserve, we call the capital reserve account, to do some really great things for the city. And then there's also a heavy focus on public safety. That's always been a priority of mine. I'm a big supporter of our police officers and our fire personnel, although we don't have our own fire department. That's a regional fire authority. But police has been something I've heavily invested in personally, and we have with finances too. And the city council has been great supporters of that as well, great partners in all of that. And then quality of life was something I always thought was important too, Preston. Lots of trails and parks and free or low cost activities for our families. That's the idea that for the spray park down here, here at Comfort Park, the EB Waterfront Trail, the Bayview Trail. Those were things that we implemented here during my time as mayor. And then we have great things like free concerts in the park, movies in the park, the pickleball courts, and of course the city council has funded all this as well and been right there along with me for all those priorities. And so those are a few of the things, I think financing and putting us in a strong financial position, strong public safety, and then great amenities for quality of life of the community. And then a fourth priority, we had more than this, but I'll just name four, was how do we get family wage jobs to Marysville? We were largely a bedroom community and still are to a large degree, but that's where we got at the concept of this Cascade Industrial Center that the council and I worked on. And that's was vacant land, and a lot of people wanted us to rezone it and just throw housing up there, just make it housing. We protected it. It was the largest swath of vacant industrial land from really the Canadian border to the Kent Valley. And it's turned out to be a huge success. We now have a lot of industry out there. We've got Pepsi, we've got Gravitics, a space module company out there. We've got Tesla out there. We've got a lot of other manufacturers. A Swedish battery manufacturer named Ashandia is also starting there, where their first North American headquarters. And so had a lot of success out there. And then, during my time on council too, we brought a lot of commercial in. A lot of people, when I doorbelled for city council that first time, told me, we don't want to buy stuff. We don't want to have to go to Everett and Linwood and everywhere to buy all the things we want to buy and to go out to eat and do all these things. So now we have auto dealerships in Marysville, and we've got Costco and Target and Best Buy, along with all the great community stores on 3rd Street and all spread throughout the city. And so we feel we have a robust commercial offering so that it's convenient for people to shop in Marysville, and we keep that money local, and we build into local businesses. And then the sales tax money goes to help pave all our streets and everything, and pay for our police officers instead of some other cities.
That's great. Well, a much bigger answer than I thought. But
Yeah.
that you've done a lot in the city. I want to talk about your son, who you're fortunate to have been in the same district when he decided that he wanted to run for county council in 2013, I believe, or was it 14?
It was
Because he did his last 4 years.
Yeah, it was 2017, I believe, that he first ran. Yeah, you got it in the 2016-17 area. Yeah,
2016-17 area, because you were on 3rd Street when you had the interview with King 5 about him wanting to run and somebody dropping the position, which would have been the executive assistant to Ken Klein, who was there, and he decided to run for his position.
Yeah.
And you were asked a question on King 5. What do you think the partnership would have been? Well, we already know what the partnership has been, better than nothing. So if you could talk a little bit about your son and yourself, what you've done in the city of Marysville and in the county, having him being on the north end, what the partnerships have been, ribbon cutting, bringing money, funding for roads and bridges, the 520 interchange. But let's talk a little bit.
I'm a real proud dad. I'm very, very proud of Nate, very proud of all three of my kids, Nate, Kristen, and Nick. But you asked about Nate and his position here. And I really just think he's done an amazing job as a county councilman. And he represents, Marysville, Arlington, Granite Falls, Darrington, and Stanwood. And of course, the unincorporated areas in the 1st District. And he's done, I think, a remarkable job for all those cities, including Marysville. He has been heavily involved in the investment in a lot of the infrastructure in those cities, a lot of the quality of life projects, a lot of the public safety initiatives and cleanup of some of the unattractive things around that people have wanted him to work on, some of the drug houses and things of that nature. And so I think he's just done a remarkable job. And for Marysville, I know he's done this in a number of cities. He's helped us with some of our parks and our trails and our big transportation projects, where the county's been able to help partially fund some of these things. And also he's helped us lobby for state and federal dollars for those as well. And so he's been a great partner. The county itself has been a great partner, and Nate, as our representative in the first district, has been a really great partner in all these things, and really is visible and accessible to his constituents, in all of the first district that he represents. And so, and I know, I really appreciate the work he's done in other surrounding cities too, because we need we need the whole county to be strong. And so I work closely with mayors of all the cities of the county, and I know that those other cities that I named that Nate represents work closely with him on these things as well.
Yeah, he's great. He's a great accent. I used him every time I need him. Pick up the phone. He's been there. I know he's been a little busy. He got your grandpa to what now? 4 grandkids?
4 beautiful grandkids.
The 4 beautiful grandkids under him. That's got to be great.
It is.
We got 6 wonderful folks joining on either on Facebook, YouTube. Thanks for joining us. You got a question, comment for the mayor? We got some time. Would love to have your comments, question, whatever you want. Type in the chat, and we'll see if we can get to it. Ted and Michelle, appreciate you joining. Thank you very much for all you do. You guys are the best. Thank you for supporting. Let me ask you this question. We've got stuff in Olympia, and we've got stuff here. We got the 520 interchange opening up. Where are we at in that project? And are we about ready to have a second interchange coming to Marysville this year?
Real good question. We started, excuse me just a minute. We started working on that interchange back in 2015. And so we got the funding for it. State Senator Steve Hobbs was really a good partner in that, as were a number of our legislators in Olympia. We got the funding for that back in 2015, and here we are today, and we're almost done with it. So yes, that's a great question, Preston. We've been watching the construction. The state is leading the project, so they tell us it should be open by the end of this month. So we're
ribbon cutting planned, and
we did a
vehicle.
They scheduled the ribbon cutting in July because they thought they were going to have it open in July, and so we held the ribbon cutting in July, and so we'll just open it up now when it's ready, and let the traffic start getting the relief that they.
What a great thing to get the city flowing through Marysville. We look now at 2025 and beyond. I know you've got plans coming up. What is the next? If you had 2 things off the top of your head you could talk about from now. I know that we had the school district taking the old city hall building. You've got public works combining. So a couple of things that stand out to you for 2025, 26, 27. What do you have coming up in the next 2 years that's going to make the city better?
What I really want to focus on now is when we get this interchange open here, we have a north interchange at 156 that we really need to get going on. We've worked hard to get the funding for that. We'll probably need a little additional funding, and that's the 156 interchange. And that'll, we'll start designing that probably late 2026, and it's scheduled to be constructed, I think, in the 2030, 31 timeframe. No, that sounds a ways off, but like I told you, we were working on this one in 2015, and here we are already today. We really need a 156th interchange because 172nd is so crowded, both for Arlington and Marysville residents, with all the residential that's gone in there and the businesses. And so that is a project I'll be putting a lot of attention to and effort in. I've already started, and our staff is tuned up and ready to go on that. We also would like to, and this isn't funded yet, but we're lobbying hard at the federal and state level to get an overcrossing of what used to be a rail crossing there at 156. If you get off what will be our 156 interchange, or if you just take the flyover now and you continue west, you'll come to a dead end. You'll come to where that closed rail crossing is. BNSF closed it about 25 years ago. We would like to get a flyover of that too, so that, when you get off the interchange, you can go east into all the industrial area and the housing area, but you can also have full access west. I mean, even without that, you can still wrap your way around, but we'd like to get that flyover in conjunction with the interchange. So we're working a lot on that. Our waterfront area here, you mentioned, we will be taking over the old Marysville School District Center there, where their admin offices in 2027, to move our public works yard off of the water onto that. And then, of course, they are moving into our old City Hall area that's getting a little bit of an addition to fit all of them. And so that was really good for both. It allowed the district to sell a property that they weren't using all of, and it was a property they were having to pay to maintain and all that. And they were able to get some extra cash out of that deal, which they really need to help fix up some schools and different things. It helped us a lot because we need to get our public works yard off the floodplain. It's been flooded beforehand, so we need a better place for our public works yard, and that'll free that up to hopefully turn that waterfront area into the private sector and get some type of nice amenities down there. So that's something we'll be focusing on, is getting that public works yard here, continuing our waterfront master plan, and then, we're going to continue to emphasize too the nuts and bolts of government, like public safety, which is still paramount on people's minds. We've been leaders, I think, in public safety. We have a tough love approach where we offer help to those willing to take it, but we hold people accountable when they don't. We're not afraid to hold people accountable that commit crime. We're also trying to get at the root cause of the crime and get them back on track in their life. And then transportation, we have a robust plan to continue to improve our roads and maintain them. And I want to keep that up. One thing, we've widened state to 5 lanes. We put the First Street bypass in. We've got these new interchanges coming in. We also want to make sure we maintain the roads we have. And so we're focusing heavily, and you'll see some of that work this summer on 67th, some other areas, and in outgoing years.
So switching gears, want to do a little public safety. Folks, everybody, you want to talk public safety? Well, I'd talk with you about that. Understand that I'm talking to the police chief, and you can confirm that we're getting 2 new canines because the canines are going to retire.
Yeah.
What is it like having your own city jail and your court system and not having to branch out as a mayor, and knowing that if there's a problem, you can go to the court system or go to the police and say, hey, I'm here, I'm driving in my town. Here's what I've got going on. Can you go address it? Rather than, I know you would have to pick up the phone and call 911, but as the mayor of your hometown, what is it like having a police chief who picks up the phone regardless who it is, and knowing that this is a problem that needs to be addressed? We need to do this and get it done now. So with the canines, talk a little bit about the canines if you can, and then about the police overall, what you're liking and what your plans are with the police department and public safety.
Yeah. Great. Thanks, Ted, for the nice comment there too. So the police dogs are fantastic. These are just great assets for our department. They are so helpful in a lot of different areas, and we're retiring too. And we appreciate the community support, and we're able to get 2 more police dogs on here. These are highly sophisticated, trained animals. They also are great to be around. We're able to bring them out at events for the public and let the kids see them and stuff. So
new community support dog named Molly.
Yeah. And so love our police dog program, including Molly, the community support dog. And Chief Scarpin is just an amazing police chief. He really is as good as they get. And we had such a great hire with Chief Scarpin, and our whole team there, our whole police team, from the chief to the assistant chief, Jim Lawless, all our command staff on down, are just fantastic. So proud of our team at police. And so you asked about the jail and the courts too. Mm-hmm. It isn't glamorous, but this community had the foresight. We put it to the voters about probably 7 years ago now. Did they want to fund a public safety sales tax to build that police and jail facility? And they passed it pretty soundly. And I think that was very thoughtful of the Marysville voters, not because we all want to build jails and stuff, but if you don't have a jail in your community, and Linwood and Marysville are the 2 cities that do have them, ask the communities that don't have them. That means a lot of catch and release, because if you are trying to get them in another jail and they don't want them because they've got a drug problem or whatever the issue is, then you don't have any other options. You just let them go on your street. And, if it's a misdemeanor, and you find a lot less accountability for crime sometimes in cities that don't have their own jail. And even if you get them in jail, you've got to get your officer to drive them from your community to the other community, because it's not your jail or your staff, they have to sit and wait while they're booked and checked in. So you're taking officers off the street for hours at a time just to check somebody into jail. Our officers can just run them by here, drop them off, and our custody officers take care of that for them. And we don't have to worry about whether we'll take them or not. They just drop them off and they're going to jail. So if you commit a crime in Marysville, you got to know, and you learn real quickly, oh, this is a city where you're actually held accountable. There's going to be no catch and release here. So it's important to have your own city jail. Again, not because it's glamorous to build jails, but because it provides a measure of accountability, and it keeps your officers on the street rather than checking people into another jail that could be as far away as Seattle or Yakima or wherever.
So talking about that, I know as mayor, you've had people, thanks, Ted, appreciate your support. Wish you lived in this hometown. You probably feel a little more comfortable, right?
The same goes for the courts too, having your own court system.
Yeah.
We're not dependent on somebody else prosecuting or whatever. We can do that ourselves.
You have your own.
Yeah.
So what I want to ask you is, with that being said, if someone commits a dangerous felony here and it happens in the city, do they still go to the Marysville jail and then be transferred to Snohomish County? Or can you still hold them here because they did the crime here? Or do they have to go to county because it's something bigger than what the city can handle? Yeah,
really good question. So they would, I mean, we can do temporary things here if there's no way to get them. Basically, though, dangerous felons will go to the county facility and they'll be prosecuted at the county. When you're in local, when you have a local municipal court or a local municipal jail, that is for misdemeanor crimes, which is a lot of the crimes we have: drug offenses, vandalism, car prowls, car thefts, home robbery, things like that. But yeah, if you get something where somebody is in a major assault, or hopefully not, but a murder or something like that, that's all going to the county, and along with a lot of other serious crimes. So that's great. Yeah. Well, I know people, you have questions, sent them in the comments. We just got a couple more minutes here. We're going to wrap this up. Looking down the road and when looking into your new future, do you plan to stay in the city until your kids graduate high school before you quit being mayor? Or do you plan on coaching, or I'm just switching into personal life. Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, well, my kids are all out. You probably met my grandkids. Mm-hmm. Yeah, my grandkids. My kids are all out on their own now. I love being mayor of Marysville. Yeah, I'm very, very happy in this position as long as the voters continue to have trust in me, and they've been great. I just love this community. My wife and I raised our family here. We've lived here ever since we got married in 1993, and hard to imagine, a better position than this one. So really happy here. As far as coaching and all that, who knows? I coached a lot with my kids coming up, and maybe there'll be an opportunity with my grandkids too. I would welcome that. I love youth sports, and that's a great way to invest back in the community and also have fun with your kids or your grandkids or whoever. So and I know that you've been heavily involved in that. We've got stories of all. I want to just touch a little bit. Your youngest son is the executive assistant to the mayor in Mukilteo. Mm-hmm. Have you been able to do anything since your son is sitting there and you being mayor here and him being there? Have you had any relationship with them, or is that totally separate? Have you done anything with them? No, I mean, Mukilteo, we do most of our partnerships with the cities that are directly connected to us, like Arlington and Everett. And Lake Stevens, and then as far as other jurisdictions, the Tulalip tribes, those are kind of where, just because we're interconnected. But Mayor Marine's fantastic, and I've worked with him on initiatives as well. He's been a strong advocate for a lot of the priorities that we share here in Marysville: sound financial judgment, public safety, and that. So I've worked closely with him, probably most on the public safety issue in Olympia and places. Mayor Marine and Mukilteo, and so, they're a great partner as well, Mukilteo, and really appreciate the work Mayor Marine does with our mayor's group. Yep. With last question, and lots of people have. Ted, if you have anything, you can chime in. Last question would be Olympia. So coming in the 226th, it's a 60-day session. Yeah.
And I know you're working with your partners. What is 1 or 2 things that you're trying to get out of the 26th session to know that you would be ready to go for 27 and 28?
Yeah.
When you get, what are the 2 things you would like to get the legislature to bark on
Yeah.
that we need to have done in order to keep the city moving forward?
Yeah, I think our number 1 priority will be to ask for more funding for that 156th overcrossing over the closed rail crossing that I talked about out there to the west of where the new interchange will be. That'll probably be our number 1 priority. We've got some funding for that, but we need to continue chipping away at that before we can construct it, hopefully in conjunction with the interchange in 2031. Secondly, there's some work on 88th we're trying to do that we'll ask for, and then also Bayview Trail, expanding that. This is a partnership with the city of Lake Stevens, expanding Bayview to the south. So right now, Bayview on the south ends at 528 here, and so we'd like to take it across there and take it further south all the way into Lake Stevens. And so that's something that we're working with the legislature on for funding. And so we got some money for it this year, and we'll probably go back and ask for some more next year to continue that progress.
That's great. Mayor, I want to say thank you for your time.
My pleasure.
And your willingness to do this, sitting down. Thanks for all you've done to keep the city safe. Folks, if you're not from the city, I know a lot of people are listening because they know me. I want to thank Ted's brother from North Carolina. Thanks for joining in. Ted, Michelle, everybody joining in. Like, follow. If you have questions, you can put it on. If you watch this video later and you're in this hometown and you want to ask the mayor a question, reach out to the city.
Yeah.
Reach out to the city. They can reach out to the mayor directly. His phone is open. He has an open door policy. You can call the city at, he can give whatever you want, but you can reach out if we have everything. It's an honor to have you all here. I want to say thank you very much for all you do. Thank you for your time.
You too.
And
Preston.
thank you.
Thanks.
And Ted, I'm going to let you end the live stream, please.